Hello, my name is Erik Schoon. I'm a gastroenterologist and endoscopist. I'm working in the Catharina Hospital, which is a large teaching hospital in the south of the Netherlands, and also the Catharina Cancer Institute. I'm an interventional endoscopist and oncologist, and I'm doing endoscopy for about 30 years now. We do all kind of procedures like EMR, ESD, RFA, as well as upper and lower GI oncology. CAD EYE is the novel artificial intelligence system from Fujifilm. And it consists of mainly 3 parts. The first part is that it gives the possibility for polyp detection. So it has a polyp detection mode. The second part is that it's also able to differentiate or classify polyps into neoplastic or non-neoplastic polyp, which has as well advantages for future policies for polypectomy. Third part is that it contains storage space for HD quality images and/or videos. Well, the major benefit in CAD EYE and the artificial intelligence system helping you detecting polyps is that the ADR is going sky high for any endoscopist adequately working with this system. And that means that your proficiency of detecting polyps can increase a lot. And that means that even relatively beginning endoscopists can reach expert level on a short term with help of these kind of systems. And because you get notified of polyps or abnormalities which otherwise you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. So as we know that ADR is very important for preventing carcinomas, and the higher the ADR, the more carcinomas you prevent, and also to prevent interval carcinomas. So it has to be validated in this way, and it has to be proven. But we know that the higher the ADR, the better the prevention of colorectal cancer is. And for every person, for every endoscopist, the ADR definitely will increase by using these kind of AI systems, and especially CAD EYE. Well, the detection mode works quite easy. So when you switch to BLI or LCI, the endoscope, if the CAD EYE processor is on, you automatically are in your detection mode. And you switch on if you reach the CCAM and you're going to detect the polyps, and you switch on the detection mode. Of course, you need a very clean colon, so it's very good to have a clean colon as good as possible to find the polyps. And it's very accurate and very sensitive. It gives more signals than there are really polyps, and that's difficult to get used to in the beginning. But afterwards you find out that it really detects small and flat polyps, which you might otherwise not have appreciated yourself. If the detection mode finds a polyp, you can easily switch to detection mode by switching to BLI, and then the CAD EYE automatically switch into the differentiation mode. Therefore, you need to have a clean polyp. You need to center the polyp, and the system indicates if the differentiation is accurate enough by a rim around your image, and so it says, well, this is hyperplastic, this is non-neoplastic, or this is a neoplastic polyp. I think the user interface has been very cleverly developed. So in a few simple lines, in a simple brackets, yeah, you can see the essence of what's going on, and especially in the determination mode, it's also really written down neoplastic, non-neoplastic. So, well, you can dispute the colors of the rim around the abnormalities, because if you have red, it's wrong, and green, it's good. That might be a little bit more easy, but that's the only remark in that aspect I would like to make. And I have seen prototypes before, and it has been very well developed through a very clinical, practical instrument, in my opinion. Well, CAD EYE can improve daily examination by the fact that it works as well as good in the morning and in the evening, and that's not really the case for a human, because a human can get tired, can lose concentration, can be distracted by other clinical questions or otherwise, and one of the main features of artificial intelligence system is that they do what you've learned, and they do what they've been asked for, and they're objective, they're without emotion, and they don't get tired. Yeah, that's a good question. I compare that to navigation system in the car. I mean, who would have thought that everyone would use his navigation system, even in surroundings he's familiar with? And people said, well, I'm not going to use it because I know the way from A to B. But in the end, everyone uses it because it works very well. It finds the way if there's a traffic jam, and so on and so on. So in this case, the systems need to be validated. You need to know what exactly is my advantage of using it, and I think in the end, if you get used to these systems, if you get used to relying on the systems, if you can make clinical choices with help of those systems, where the doctor in the end is always responsible and always can make up his mind. Then these systems are going to be very important in clinical practice in the future, because they correct for human flaws, and they correct for human lack of cognition. Not everyone is an expert. Not everyone can become an expert, and if by using expert systems you get very near expert, you can reach very near expert level if you use it appropriately in clinical practice. We're heading in a good direction, and like if you now have car driving lessons, you learn how a navigation system works, and you need to use the navigation system. So if you learn endoscopy now in the future, you're going to do that with help of CAD EYE, with help of artificial intelligence. So your learning curve will improve more rapidly, and also you're going to these systems get better by giving them more information, by giving them more input. These systems get better by being tested in clinical practice, by large multi-center trials proving the contribution of the system, by validating the resect and discard strategies. So besides learning faster, higher quality, higher ADR detection rate, it can also potentially save a lot of costs for healthcare if you don't need to send all the polyps to pathology, but you can rely on a very accurate diagnostic decision of determination of the histology prediction. Of course, so the patient benefits if he doesn't get colorectal cancer, and despite the doctor is doing as good as possible, we know that that polyps are missed. We know that you need a high ADR to prevent colorectal cancer and interval cancers. Well, doctors are going to get more at the same level, so the mean quality thereby increases, and therefore yeah, you get higher IDRs, you get less interval cancers, and so if it works in clinical practice as in theoretically should be, then this definitely is going to give a lot of benefits for future patients. Well, I think the future of endoscopy is, besides good quality HD endoscopes, good quality HD imagery, so you can make wonderful images and movies, is also a lot of cognition. So I'm working for 13 years in endoscopy already, and I would have liked to have the knowledge I have now when I started doing it. So it takes many years to get enough cognition to recognize rare abnormalities, to recognize early cancers in the stomach and the esophagus, to recognize T1 cancer in the colon, and that takes time and takes a lot of cognition. That gets more rapidly because we live in a world with a lot of movies and YouTube films and photos and lectures available on the internet. But still, you would like to have a kind of objective institute with validated knowledge, which can help you in your clinical practice, and that has two advantages. You rapidly get to the expert or the near expert level, and the differences in doctors with low ADR and high ADR, that's going to level out. So everyone can get high ADR in the future. And let me say that otherwise. I don't think we're talking about ADR in the future. We're talking about, are we using AR or not, and which system, and what's the value of that system, how is it being validated, and what does it do? And then we forget about ADR. That's, I predict, in 10 years no one is going to talk about ADR anymore.